One. Good evening. Hello, everybody. I know I've been talking for about 7 minutes now, so this is my official hello. This is the recorded hello, and just thank you all for joining me tonight. It's another Thursday night special, coming from the south of England, the very wet, soggy south of England. And tonight, we are all gathered together in our wonderful etheric space, focusing on alchemizing the 3D matrix. Now, I've had a really good think about this, and the energy this week has been absolutely off the charts, off the Richter scale. First of all, and I did plan this, by the way, most of the time I've kind of turned up for workshops, or I've turned up for a talk, and somebody will say, "Oh, did you know it's like the biggest supermoon of the year this year, or it's the start of a Mercury retrograde?" Well, we've got two things going on at the moment. We've just entered the first Mercury retrograde of the year. Oh, it's 78 hertz Schumann resonance as well. I like to hear that, getting in there with the Schumann resonance. But the most important one is the date today. Apparently today is a very powerful date. It's the 20th. It's a 222, which is a master builder. Now, we've had two of these this month. We had the palindrome, which we worked with previously, and I think I was actually on the palindrome the 2nd of February. I was presenting in Sweden. Now, that was unintentional. I didn't realise that date works out like that. So Diana Cooper and Rosebery and I were presenting on the palindrome, and it was a really potent, really powerful day. But of course, when you're in front of, say, 150 to 200 people presenting, the kind of so focused on the energy that you're putting out, that the vibration of everything that's coming in is kind of a little bit not lost on you, but you're more focused on what you're doing. Today, I've been hyper aware of the energies and how they feel. Dave's mentioned about the energies today, sort of like the energy during the week being very funky. Now, funky to those of you that aren't English, probably understand. I don't know whether you understand the kind of sarcasm that's usually put in with that. But funky energy means lively, and it can either mean we are interpreting that energy as comfortable, yeah, funky, get going, or we're kind of interpreting it as God, this is hard work. This is hard work. The energy's really funky out there, kind of thing. I've been feeling latter funky this week. I've been feeling that when we gather together tonight, we are actually going to be really focusing on what's going on out there, and kind of why we are processing the way that we're doing, and where are we going with it, what's actually happening with that. And I've had lots of different perspectives kind of presented to me about kind of what the best approach is. I mean, the title of the workshop, Alchemizing the Global 3D Matrix. Now, for those of you that have joined me before, you would, particularly last year, this is something that I focused on kind of a repetitive basis, because it's backtracking to the cosmic moment. We had 5 years where we began the cosmic moment. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure you do by now, the 21st of December 2012 was when this planet began its monumental shift that it's going through. So we walked through this window into a predominant, it's kind of like, Saskia is describing it as a warm bath, like the energy of the planet began to change overnight, and we began to be bathed in very high frequency energies. And this began immediately on the 22nd of December 2012. And since that point, we have been through an incredible process for the last 8 years, or 7.5, 8 years. My maths will probably fail me now I'm going live. And we've been through the emotional cleansing process, the mental cleansing process, the spiritual expansion of ourselves, which seems to be like a continual process that's beginning to really ramp up at the moment. But most importantly, it's the focal point of the last 7.5, 8 years has been the change that is occurring structurally on this planet. Dave is, I think Elk Newhouse is having problems with her sound. If you could just possibly help her out there, mate, that'd be great. So we are in the midst of the most incredible structural change at the moment, and the change, as you've probably heard me say before, really started to kick in at the beginning of last year. We were presented with a brand new template of energy. So this is the start of 2019, and this is when I was really drawn to move from working on kind of almost like an individual process, the process that we go through as individuals, into a we process. Like, you know, it's instead of working just on us as individuals, working on the collective process. And over the course of the year, I was drawn to work with pillars of light in specific areas, working with changing direct frequencies using the assistance of the ascended masters, the angels, the dragons, the unicorns, everybody who's at hand to assist us on a major basis. And it's just gone higher and higher and higher. And this one particularly very memorable Zoom, which I did last September, I can remember getting into bed and instead of kind of having that wow, I'm chilled out now, and everything goes into a state of relaxation, I suddenly got hit by this massive feeling of anger. And some of you have heard me tell this story before. It was overwhelming. It was very intense, and I immediately knew it wasn't mine. It wasn't. It's if you're 1 minute you're in a state, a certain state, and all of a sudden you change like immediately, you can pretty much guarantee 98% of that isn't going to belong to you. It's coming from an exterior source. And I'm probably telling you this because a lot of you might be experiencing this at the moment. It might be something that you're kind of going through on a daily basis. And I lay there and I tuned into it, and it took me nearly 2 hours to clear it. And I'm a pretty dab hand with the alchemical energies. I'm usually like, right, bang, I'm on it, and things will dissolve. But this was like multiple waves of this energy coming in, and I was like, what is this? And I was like talking to Archangel Metatron. He's like, you know, like come on, give me a break, sort of thing. What's this come from? And I was told very clearly that the work that we had been doing collectively, those of you that have joined me before, and me personally, was creating a specific effect. Okay, now we as individuals have been trained to kind of like, you know, over the course of our lifetimes, we're conditioned to believe that we're not powerful. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is that we are extremely powerful. And when we put our focus and intention into something as an individual, it has a massive effect. You get 100 of us online, 150, 200 of us, all focusing on the same thing. And that effect becomes global, and it works. And this, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing it in the first place. We do it because it works. And I was told very clearly that I was doing something called breaking the program. Okay, like some of you might remember it. I remember it very clearly. I got told by Archangel Metatron, you're feeling this anger, this collective deluge, because you're breaking the program. The program that has existed on this planet for a considerable period of time is beginning to dissolve. And of course, it wasn't just me individually breaking the program. I'm not like the superhero program breaker. It was a collective thing. It's a collective effort of all of the light workers around the world doing similar work to we're doing, either on an individual level or on a collective level, And it reached a pitch or a point last August or September, probably just after the Lion's Gate, if I'm honest, where all of a sudden it's beginning to work. You know, instead of just being something that we're throwing energies out to constantly, we were beginning to start getting confirmation that it was really happening. The third dimensional, kind of what I would always describe as the third dimensional control systems that existed on this planet for a very, very long time, were beginning to collapse. Now, this kind of goes in harmony with other things that had been occurring on the planet. You've heard me talk about the activation of the collective heart chakra. We were talking about the activation of the fifth dimensional heart chakra last week on the Valentine's special, about how globally all of the souls on this planet had their fifth dimensional heart center activated simultaneously. That sounds like an absolute joy. It's a lovely, lovely, positive, high vibrational thing to occur. But because of the way that our planet has been constructed for so long, it's creating chaos, because everybody is being faced with their egos instead of kind of just going about their everyday business like they used to. There is no comparison on our planet at the moment, energetically or structurally, to the way that it's been operating previously. I think all of us can kind of collectively agree that things out there are beginning to really change. They're beginning to really ramp up. It's almost, I've described it before as almost being in kind of a microwave oven a little bit. Now, there's several, sorry, I'm clear, as I'm talking, I'm clearing, there's obviously things coming up, you know, within my throat chakras. I'm talking about this tonight. And the most important thing, I think, at the moment, the thing that is most kind of prevalent for all of us as light workers is maintaining our positive focus. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about in structure with the Zoom tonight is how to unplug from the kind of the field, what I call the nonsense field out there. And there's two worlds, or as many worlds as you know, if you look at, there's 9.6 billion individual points of light or points of consciousness on that planet. You can say everybody's creating their own individual world. But collectively, when people think along the same lines, when they think in the same pools, when they have a shared intention, they create collectively. At the moment, we together as a group are creating a fifth dimensional unit, a fifth dimensional frequency of high vibrational energy. That's our focus. We're intending to get together, we're intending to work, we're intending to raise our vibrations, and we're intending to create alchemy, not just for us, but around the world. On the other side of the coin, the flip side, is the very large and very well-fed field of what we would call collective lower consciousness, fear. I don't want to label things too much, because if you feed it, it grows. If you kind of give it a label, it reinforces that label. But there's one thing that we do need to be aware of, is although that we are light workers and that we think positively, and that our focus is to raise the game, to raise the vibration, to ignore what's going on out there isn't really an option. We know that we live on a planet where we are raising our frequency in the middle of a storm. Basically, that's how I feel that that everything is going at the moment. You know, I'd like to, over the course of the evening, know how you are all personally feeling. There's a lot of the times that I launch into these Zooms, I do an incredible amount of talking and present a lot of information. How are you all feeling at the moment? Do you have any questions about what's going on? It's an incredible process. I've been feeling the collective pressure tonight and for the week of the new energies coming in. They're absolutely incredible. I always know when things are going to become really high frequency, when they're going to be really interesting, because my internal body heat rises. Have any of you noticed that as well? When you can be just sedate, you can just be doing whatever you're doing normally, and all of a sudden your internal temperature starts to rise. That is a sign the light's coming in. And I've been feeling that today. I've been feeling it yesterday. We're in the middle of a very, very high frequency window. It's the perfect opportunity to do the light work and the alchemy that we've gathered together to do tonight. But removing ourselves from that unplugging from the old frequencies is one of the most important things that I want to talk about tonight. It's incredible, and yeah, I can talk a bit about psychic transformation, Marie. I'll bring that into the conversation tonight, definitely. And Elizabeth, you're feeling a sense of anticipation, but with ultimate. Hang on, one of the questions are going quicker than I'm reading. A sense of anticipation, but with alternating feelings of peace and anxiety. You've just hit the nail on the head there, I think, Elizabeth. That's exactly how I'm interpreting the energies. It's almost like switching between one to the other continuously. But I'm definitely feeling the increase of energy physically. Feeling low, yeah, that's another one. But otherwise, been buzzing. And Laurie, feeling so much heart-opening in periods of kind of apathetic, or maybe just searching for a new way of being, leaving the old behind. That's exactly what we're doing. And it does leave a void, you know, sort of as we transit from one place to the next, as we're moving through this kind of like this field of energy that we're actually in, it does leave like the kind of a space where you've got that silence around you. It's Georgie's feeling like you've been turned inside out and upside down. Yeah, a lot of the warmth of the incoming energies, Saskia, I can really feel it. And Anita's feeling it from this morning onward. Feel like stomach's very upset. No, I don't. Funnily enough, I've been feeling it. This is a good point. If you're feeling a lot of the stomach issues, a lot of the kind of the anxiety or the tensions that you'll be feeling will be perceived by your solar plexus and kind of almost processed by your navel, your sacral and your base. So you are going to feel it around there. Janice, a lot of family issues, but just incredible joy, just through the roof. Yeah, I know what you're feeling like. Roller coaster. Yeah, definitely, Georgia. I totally resonate with that. And Kiki's saying lots of high frequency sound pitches in the right ear and a bit of a foggy head. Yeah, I've been here. The sound pitch has started this morning. Now that will very likely be the rise in the Schumann resonance that Rhiannon mentioned earlier on, the Schumann resonance spiking. When the Schumann resonance tends to kind of go on a bit of a Schumann rampage, it will, I always perceive it. I know it's coming because my ears light up and I can hear this very, very high pitched whistling in my ears. And Deborah's saying big shift in energy. Yeah, feeling much more peaceful and accepting of people. That's good, Deborah. That's what we want to be focusing on, is that acceptance. And Marina is saying, I'm in a state now where my chakras are disappearing. Okay, I've more only my heart, earth and crown left, so wide but nice at the same time. Be interesting, because sometimes when you really raise your frequency, when you're in tune with the vibrations that are coming in, I would see the chakra column unify itself. So it's interesting you say that. Yeah, Chris, is feelings down to a menopause as well. It's you know, I can imagine. I mean, I won't ever go through that, but I can imagine that the intensity of the changes, the shifts, the constant shifts will be very, very much like that. And yeah, Basmati, you may use the same crystal. You know, like for those of you that are tuning in with a crystal tonight, okay, you can use the same crystal that you use for multiple purposes. Okay, just changing the tack completely. If you've got a crystal and you want to use it tonight, you can use the same crystal that you use in other workshops, or whether you've joined one of my previous Zooms where you put specific codes into that crystal. You can use it for multiple. You can use it for multiple purposes. Just make sure that the crystal knows what you're putting in and what you're doing with it. Okay. I'm seeing, you know, all of you are describing very, very similar symptoms coming in. You know, we're rising and falling, sort of like on this kind of roller coaster of energy. We're going to be doing a little bit later on a very powerful meditation that I've written very recently, and we're going to be bringing in a lot of light for ourselves and using this for the planet. The reason why you are feeling like you are feeling at the moment, the reason why all of you are feeling this intense kind of rise and fall and a roller coaster of energy and a roller coaster of emotions at the moment, is when this light comes into the planet in the quantities that it is at the moment. And believe me, it really is rolling in, and it just simply, but the second you hear the word retrograde, everyone goes, it's a retrograde, you know, like what's going to happen to me kind of thing. For me personally, I know my sentiments aren't shared out there. I like retrogrades. I particularly like Mercury retrogrades. I was born in one. I was born in a Mercury retrograde. If any of you look at your astrological star chart, if you can go onto Google, and Google is one of the sites that I use, is called Cafe Astrology. You put your name in, your date, your time of birth. It's important to know your time of birth, where you were born, and it will give you an astrological readout. If you look at where the planets are set, like say, I've got Mercury in Leo. When I looked at Mercury in Leo, it had a little R next to it. That means my Mercury was in retrograde when I was born. So for 9 weeks of the year, I actually function in harmony with the retrograde, whereas all of the rest of it is a bit of a mad scramble. So I actually welcome the retrogrades. I feel quite well aligned during them, but I know for a lot of people, they almost kind of, you tense up and you expect a bit of chaos. This is one of the things I want to focus on tonight, is actually changing or alchemizing our perceptions of what's going on out there and how to expect it and how to deal with it. And it just brings me back, I know I'm digressing slightly, it's very important, I believe, to remain completely and totally, and I'm going to say this absolutely off the bat, completely unplug from the mainstream kind of the flow of what we would call information. Okay. Now, I know I mentioned this last week, Facebook has been, without Facebook, I don't believe that the majority of us would be communicating in the way that we are doing, okay? I thank Facebook for connecting me to everybody on the planet that I speak to now, the people that see my work, that we have a huge amount to thank social media for. It has been an absolute blessing, whatever it was created for. I mean, you hear different reasons for why Facebook was created. It is a psyop, that it was done to kind of gather, peek and harvest personal information. That might be true, whatever, but at the end of the day, what it's done is it's you know, if that was the intention, it's kind of backfired slightly, because what it's done is it's powerfully connected a global group of light workers all together, and we can communicate with each other on a daily basis very, very easily. And we are continuing to do so. It's absolutely amazing. It's incredible what we can achieve. But very, very importantly, it's crucial to be aware of what you are tuning into via your news feed. Okay, there is information which comes through on the news feed, which is either very, very spiritual, or it can drop your frequency like a stone. You've got to be very, very careful what you're tuning into. This is the same with the news that's going on around the planet. Okay, and I've said this before. I think as light workers, it's important that we don't just bury our head in the sand and completely ignore what's going on out there. It's important to know what to work with, what to focus on, what we need to pour our heart vibrations in and our divine alchemy towards, but at the same time, don't be energetically engaged with it, because once you energetically engage with it, that's when you actually become part of that field. The fields that we are involved with are incredibly important. Okay, this is how we navigate this particular period of our spiritual evolution, picking your fields, picking your vibration, and sticking with it as much as possible. Okay, so focus and intention, it all comes back to the laws of one at the end of the day. Grace, intention, manifestation, karma, responsibility, and unconditional love. Grace, manifestation, and intention and responsibility, those four, like, you know, just if you hear something or something triggers you, or it has the potential to kind of draw you down to its level, grace it and move on. Okay, we have a choice every minute of every day of what we add our energy to. You've all heard the stories of which wolf you're going to feed. Are you going to feed the wolf on the dark side? Are you going to feed the wolf on the light? You know, these wolves are internal and external. It's you know, I personally love wolves, but it's the description you might have many times. So this is it. Pick your focus very, very carefully at the moment, and when you pick that focus, if you are choosing to focus on something which is, I'm going to use the example, if you're choosing to assist a situation that is actually really frightening everybody, I mean, we can all name straight off the tops of our heads 1 or 2 or 3 particular global situations at the moment that are really worrying people collectively. So automatically, as light workers, with our heart, you know, we want to help, we want to change, but we've got to be very careful about how we do that. If we leap into the middle of that, you are immediately privy and part of the same vibration of everything that's going on there, and you're going to get overwhelmed by it. If you work as an observer, looking in, detached, but still part of it, as working from a higher level, this is when the alchemy begins. So it's a case of unplugging from. It sounds like the movie. It sounds like the movie The Matrix, but it couldn't be more poignant. At the moment you unplug from that drama, you unplug from the field, and you come back to center and choose very, very carefully what you throw your attention, intention, manifestation into. Because at the moment it will bounce back and it will create itself almost immediately. That field will grow immediately. And what we're working on is creating the new higher fields, the new matrix. And it's very powerful at the moment. Our planet is growing in frequency on a daily basis, but we've still got this massive field of fear around our world. Fear and control of the old matrix, which is, you know, I want to work on it tonight. It's having trouble letting go. Okay, now there's part of me that feels like I really want to get stuck in there and just like, right, okay, enough's enough. Like we want our ascension process to move forward as swiftly as possible. And on the other side of the coin, that, you know, I have to kind of stop and slap my wrist occasionally, because it's like, it's got to be done with love. It's got to be, it can't be done from a point of anger. It's always got to be done with love, you know, and I'm having to remind myself this on a daily basis, as I'm sure that many of you are as well. When you approach something, when you're approaching anything from a heart-based consciousness, when you're approaching it from a fifth dimensional frequency, it comes from the heart. It doesn't come from the ego. And it's a big, big lesson for the majority of us, especially me. I might be talking more for myself than I am talking to you. Some of you might all be better at it than me. I don't know, but I really feel pulled to get kind of stuck in and kind of change everything. If you hear of people that are kind of suffering or in a bad way, or things that are unfair in politics, these are always the ones that flame me up. These are the ones that get me going. And I immediately want to kind of like get in there, change the energy. And I was told very, very clearly today, a good friend of mine, Callista, put a wonderful perspective on how we are in essence to change ourselves. Okay, by changing ourselves and remaining in that state of peace, we're creating that reality. Okay, and that reality has an immediate knock-on effect on everything around us, and we become kind of like united catalysts for peace, change, love, and harmony around our world. And that's what we're working on. So most importantly, it's unplugging from the field of drama. And energetic heroics, that's exactly right, Rhiannon. Yeah, get my sphere, dive in there kind of thing. And Linda saying, I don't like injustice is one of the things that makes me react. It's going to make you react. You're going to hear and see and experience things out there this year that are going to really trigger you. Okay, I think this is very important that we address this tonight. There are things going on, there are things occurring that are massive trigger points for all of us. Okay, they're going to push us right where we don't want to be pushed, and we're going to respond. We're human at the end of the day. We're human beings. And it's always a very, very interesting perspective to know that, one of the groups of souls that I work with on a very regular basis are the Intergalactic Council. Everything I do works in harmony with the Intergalactic Council because they are overseeing the entire ascension process on this planet. And my ear pitch has changed immediately. I mentioned them, so I'm very aware of their presence. And just if while I'm talking, just if you want to close your eyes and with your crystal, just be aware of the presence of the Intergalactic Council, particularly of Sananda, Kuan Yin and Serapis Bey. They're always three that step forwards. They're the kind of the earth ambassadors that work with us the most. So just welcome their presences with us. Sananda, Kuan Yin, Serapis Bey. And they're very present and very prominent with us tonight. So just allow their presences to kind of connect with you tonight. I've been doing a lot of talking so far, just to let the energy start to flow through. And most importantly, when we engage with souls such as the Ascended Masters that have worked with, we're working alongside them all the time. We have Ascended Masters working with us constantly. It's most important to know that the majority of them that are helping us on our ascension pathway have had lives on this planet themselves. They know what Earth is like. We have the blessing that we are going through at the moment. We're working with a planet that's ascending on a collective level. The entire frequency of the planet is changing. When Serapis Bey had his lifetimes on Earth, when Sananda had his particularly his very prominent lifetime 2,000 years ago, and Kuan Yin as well, they didn't quite have the luxury that we've got of the planetary frequency rising and giving us this huge push behind us. This is why I consider myself so blessed to be on Earth at the moment. Why I'm so I love what you said there, Rhiannon, like energetic heroics. Why I'm so pushed every morning to get out of bed and you know, change the world is because I've got a wave of energy behind me. I've got a wave of energy that is pushing me on a continual basis to be that change, to function on a collective change level. And nothing is more important at the moment, I think, than ushering the new frequencies in, the new collective matrix. Okay. Now, the third dimensional matrix, you might have heard me tell the story before about how it's been our learning platform. Okay. Now, it's important, I think, to understand where and why we've been where we've been for the last 10,000 years. Okay. I consider Earth to have really kind of entered its learning phase, the phase that we are rising out of at the moment. It's been the school, kind of the school of hard knocks since the fall of Atlantis. Atlantis existed, as you heard me when we were kind of doing the warm-up chat, existed for 10,000 years, okay, 260,000 years. It took 10,000 years to set the Atlantean experiment up. It then existed rising and falling for you know, until the fifth and final experiment. And when it sank 10,000 years ago. And the last 10,000 years have been, and it's almost like we all agreed to learn what it would be like to experience life on Earth as disconnected from source as we possibly could be. I know it's a very strange thing to sign up for, but we did it. We have incarnated again and again over the last 10,000 years in various bodies, in various circumstances. If we've all had these Earth lives, some of you might have been elsewhere. Yeah, so like if I wondered, I was wondering to myself, I've got any common sense taken times out on another planet, but I don't think I have been, but I think I've been here for the long haul. And in that 10,000 years, we have learned very thoroughly what we set out to achieve, which is, how does a human soul respond when it incarnates onto a planet in a physical form like we have, with limited chakras? Remember that for the fall of Atlantis, we were shut from 12 chakras to 7 chakras, and essentially cutting that phone line that we have to our higher selves and to all of the continual sources of light and knowledge that come in. And the ego was put in charge. Okay, so for the last 10,000 years, we've been operating on a very masculine dominated, very ego-based planet. And it has been an extremely challenging place to live. As many of you will have remembered from if you've had your Akashic readings, a lot of you will be tuning in and remembering your lifetimes now because they're up for clearance. A lot of the time, if you've remembered human lifetimes from the last 10,000 years, it'll be because you've cleared from your immediate fields what it is that you experienced during those lifetimes, because you can guarantee it would have been a challenge. You'd have come down here to experience limitation. You'd have come down here to experience what Earth had to offer at that particular time. Now, interestingly enough, those set of circumstances were created by a certain group of souls at the fall of Atlantis. Atlantis fell for the fifth and the final time because some very poor decision making occurred amongst a group of souls there that decided that they were going to use the very high frequency technology that we had for selfish purposes. And all of a sudden, the energy devolved and Atlantis, it went down. Now, the same group of souls that were responsible for that decision making then went on to run things on this planet, and they are what you would call, or what you may have heard be described as, the 1%. They're almost like the cogs behind the machine. And this is what, so if you've got all of the systems that are running our planet, the governments, the societal structures, but behind it all, you've got this energy of the puppet masters, Rhiannon, basically, the people that are pulling the strings behind the show. And what we are experiencing at the moment is the fact that they have realized that they have lost control of the planet. Okay, this is what we are experiencing at the moment. The kind of the field turmoil that we can feel out there, the collective fear, the kind of the bouncing back between 3D and 5D constantly is being created by almost like this, what you call like panic stations from the souls that have been in charge of the planet, who've been running the show, who've basically created the societies that we can see out there, things that are out of alignment, things that we want to change, things that we wish to be involved with. And like, you know, they're controlling the misinformation. They're trying to keep everybody at a lower frequency. What they don't realize is that this is a universal, this is a planetary process that has already been agreed to. Now, I've likened it to standing at the shores of the sea and just shouting, "Don't come in to the sea." You know, like how, if you want to go and do that, if you want to go and stand on the beach and shout at the sea, don't be wavy, don't come in, sort of thing, like fill your boots, but it's not going to do any good. And that is exactly how they are responding to it. They're kind of throwing absolutely everything that they can into the mix to keep the planet where it was, and it's not working. It's long, that ship has long sailed. But what it's doing at the moment is it's lengthening the process. If immediately they kind of just handed in their P40, we got something called a P45 in England, whereas when you finish your job and you hand your notice in, you hand over your P45. It's like it's exactly the same thing. And I'm trying to make light of the situation, because if we look at it from a higher perspective, it's actors on a stage. And this is how I like to remind myself that at the end of the day, we are all from the same source when we came down to this planet. But sometimes, in many circumstances, the souls that have been controlling the show they've forgotten where they came from. They've forgotten that they are ultimately from a source point of pure love, and they will return to that source point of pure love. So in the meantime, it's how we deal with the kind of the on the one side of the coin, the alchemical chaos that's going on out there, and on the other side of the coin, the basically the alchemy of divine perfection and positive creation that we are creating as we go along. And it's a very, very fine line of, you know, how do you handle it? How do you get involved with it? But without kind of getting involved with it, if you see what I mean energetically. So this is what I wanted to kind of work with tonight, the energy of working with frequencies, high frequency work. I know many of you have joined me before and will understand how this process works, but we are the change. We are the alchemical masters of the planet. We have come down here with a very, very specific job to change the frequencies of the world. It starts with us. Okay, the higher frequency we are, the quicker everything around us changes. Okay, so it goes as far as like the first thing I wanted to know how to handle last year's energy. I was waking up in the morning, and so, like, you know, some of you describing earlier on when I asked how you're feeling, that you've got like this very, very muddy head and everything, and I was experiencing it on a daily basis. I was waking up in the morning and I couldn't think. I was just like, wow, you know, I felt like I'd had my head submerged in treacle, and I couldn't understand why. I had to do what I normally do. I had to write about the energies. I had to put posts out. I had individual one-to-one sessions. I had workshops booked, and I was finding it really, really difficult to function. And so I took advice from Archangel Metatron, as I always do, and he said, focus on raising your vibration. You said, raise your vibe, pinpoint your focus, work with that. And it always came, these muddy heads that I was experiencing always came in harmony with a rise in the Schumann resonance. This is how I knew that something was, we were getting so much high frequency energy in last year. So I did that the second I woke up, literally. The second my feet kind of hit the carpet, when I got out of bed, I focused completely on positive, loving thoughts, set my energy for the day, grounded my energy, opened my heart, tuned myself into the bird song, the new incoming frequencies for the day. And it took me a while to master it, but I did not let any other thoughts enter my head for at least 5 minutes. Okay, now, so this is particularly while we've got the energy of the retrograde. Try this in the morning. Okay, try this in the morning. It's guaranteed to work. All right, it cannot fail. It's one of the most powerful things. One of the most powerful things that you can do, to simply wake up, or you can do it now if you want to. Just join me doing it now. Take your crystal, place your crystal on your heart, and just imagine that you can reset your energy at any point during the course of the day. You can reset it. It doesn't matter whether you've had 8 hours of absolute turmoil. You can take a quiet moment, or you can take a knee, like we say in the kickboxing trade. You take a knee, you reset your energy, and just take a few moments. Feel your feet on the floor. Okay, wherever you are. Just feel your feet on the floor, or whether you're sat on the bed or sat on a chair or sofa. Just become mindful of yourself. Be aware of your own physical, personal presence. And be aware of your Earth Star chakra below the soles of your feet. This is the first thing I do in the morning. Grounding my energy in. Be aware of your Earth Star chakra. As you focus on it, you'll begin to feel the soles of your feet. Literally, you're super connected to the earth at the moment. We're like human lightning rods running around this planet. All the energies that are coming in through you, and they're grounding into the planet. So take a few moments to completely reset your frequency, starting off with grounding. And now, for the purpose of our group tonight, I'm going to call in 3 specific energies that I use on a regular basis. First of all, I'd like to call in the Christ of Mahatma energy. Now, this is the Mahatma energy, but this is the more powerful version that we've been using, probably consciously or unconsciously recently. To see it coming down from above, a beautiful golden white colour. I'm even seeing rainbow sparkles mixed in with it tonight. See it coming down through, coming down your Antakarana bridge from your monadic presence. It coming down through your higher chakras, your stellar gateway, your soul star, your causal. And you'll feel it physically entering your crown at the top of the head. And once it does that, allow it to physically fill every cell of your body. Don't worry so much about your chakras. Worry about just flushing away any tension, any lower frequencies that you have within the cells of your body, and just let the Mahatma energy fill you from head to toe. And just feel it washing down you from the top of your head, down through your eyes, your nose, feel it through your chin, your throat. It's spreading out into your shoulders, moving it down through your chest, your torso, your stomach, your hips, your legs, and your feet. Just take a deep breath in now. And breathe out. And just be aware of a second high very bright frequency energy, which I'm using on a daily basis, the gold ray of Christ. And this is being presented tonight by Archangel Metatron and Archangel Christiel. They are just flooding this in. This is coming from the source of the cosmic Christ. So feel this coming down your antakarana bridge, all the way from your monadic presence, just flooding down. This is bright, radiant gold. You don't get much more gold than this. Moving down through your chakras, your stellar gateway, your soul star, your causal, lighting up your crown as it enters and moves down through. Feel it just washing through your head, your neck, your shoulders. This particular energy will be cleansing your emotional, your mental, your spiritual bodies as it moves through, as well as your physical. And just take a deep breath in as that completely and totally relaxes you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Ground the gold ray of Christ in as well. And the third energy which is presenting itself tonight, just for this exercise, is one that's called the Aquarian Ascension energy, which is a pool energy. And this was created from a collective pool of light workers that started adding to the pool of energy in 2013. It's a very powerful source of diamond moon white light. To start to see that pouring down from the heavens, moving down your antakarana bridge, down through your chakras, your body, and just allow it to wash through the soles of your feet. Now imagine us sat together in a group, in a circle. 19 of us on live tonight, and there'll be many more joining for the recording as well. Just if you're listening to this live or whether you're listening to the recording, see yourself sat with the others in this group in a large circle around the edge of a beautiful white moonlit lake. As the energy pours down from the heavens, it is moving out the soles of your feet and creating this pure white lake of energy that we are sat around. This is Aquarian pool energy, very high frequency light. This is our safety space tonight. This is our high frequency zone of energy. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. This is where we have gathered in our sacred space tonight. Just allow yourselves to ground in, creating this reality at the highest frequency now. Feel yourself grounded, feel yourself high frequency. If you place your crystal over your heart like I have, feel your heart opening and shining very, very brightly. And then just come back to where you are and open your eyes. Okay. Take a quick drink. Now, I know we did that collectively. If you're just bringing yourselves back now. But that is how I start my day at the moment. The first thing I do is I put my feet on the floor. I sit on the edge of my bed, to be honest with you, first thing in the morning. And I call those energies in. Those are the flavour of the month at the moment. So I'm calling in the Christ of Mahatma, the gold ray of Christ, and the Aquarian Ascension energy. Okay, so if any of you want to write that down, it's the Christ of Mahatma, the gold ray of Christ, and the Aquarian Ascension energy. And I'm just using that to raise my frequency before I engage with anything. It doesn't matter whether it's I'm answering emails, whether I'm answering messages, whether I'm attending to whatever my children want, whatever is going on with the day. The first thing I'm doing is setting my energy before I engage with this reality around me. Okay, it's so important. And you will find that when you do that and when you focus on that, I don't know why Mahatma Energy's flavour of the month at the moment, Alison. It's just the one that I'm being guided to use. It seems to be, as I go through different aspects at different particular times, I will get presented with different energies that are particularly resonant with me and the vibration of what's going on around us. It just happens to be one of the ones that I'm using the most. It's good for alchemizing. It's good for raising the frequency and just literally washing through, building positively on anything that you've got going on within your bodies and your fields at this particular time. Okay, and it only takes 5 minutes. It's the third energy in English. Okay, Andrea, it's something called the Aquarian Ascension energy. Now, I might well have written about it. It might be in the archives of my website, timwild.com somewhere. But you're more likely to find it in the first book that Diana Cooper and I wrote together, which is the Archangel Guide to Ascension, the 55 Steps to the Light. The Aquarian pool energy was created, this is back in my early days of Facebook. Yeah, the Aquarian Ascension energy. It's one of the first things that I did when I got onto Facebook and I started kind of gathering people that were following what I was doing, was create a full moon club. Okay, so every full moon I would do a meditation, which I wasn't going live or doing anything at the particular time. But what we noticed that when we all gathered together in this pool form, the energy was being harvested and it was going into a collective pool of energy. So every full moon for about a year, we were pouring the energy into the pool, and I noticed that it was self-sufficient, and we could kind of I could tune into this energy whenever we want. So it became the Aquarian Ascension pool, and this is exactly what we used to do in Atlantis. Okay, that's how the Mahatma energy was created. The Mahatma energy was created during Atlantean times because high frequency souls over the course of the 260,000 years poured their collective love, their frequencies, their intentions into a pool of energy, and this rapidly became the Mahatma energy. Mahatma energy is amazing. It's got Buddha energy and it's got Sphinx energy in it. It's got all the Archangel energy. It's got as many frequencies as you could possibly imagine, all mixed into one. And thank you, Anita. You're saying, can we see it as the control system and the soul's working out that karma is increasing in magnitude and light workers focus on letting go, as we've embodied the cords in order to reduce harm for the earth, cutting those cords to that energy? At the moment, everybody is kind of working. I'm just trying to work out. I'm just trying to work this up. Just trying to read that properly, Anita. Can we see it as the control system and those souls working out that karma that is increasing in magnitude? We've left, one thing that's important to note is we've left the wheel of karma. Nobody's incarnating at the moment with karma like they used to. That all stopped on the 21st of December 2012. And the karma that is playing out at the moment is residual for the last 10,000 years. This is what is coming up. And I think in a previous Zoom, we worked on releasing that karma for certain areas. I think this was at the time, one of the times when there was the particularly awful fires that were going on in Australia. And I was trying to point out that every single country on this planet, England, Australia, everywhere in Europe, we've all accumulated national karma. And all of this is playing out at the moment. And particularly, and so as well as dealing with that, we're alchemizing it as we go along. There's also people are still creating karma for themselves on this world very, very effectively, and it's all becoming, you see what I mean, like it's becoming quite an intensive boiling pot over in 3D land. And although we are part of that, although we are part of it, we're not, because we've risen our vibration above that benchmark of energy now. We live in this frequency, but the two worlds are becoming very separate from each other, which is why a lot of you might actually feel like you are just looking at a television screen a lot of the time, while you see what's going on there, and it's like watching. I was like, oh my god, it's like I'm watching a movie, and I'm noticing I'm feeling more and more like I'm in half realities a lot. And it's particularly when the frequency is rising very high, like it is at the moment, that it's almost like you are definitely within two worlds. And Rhiannon is saying, is there going to be a mass die-off of people who chose to stay in 3D when we reach the new golden age? I personally, that's a good question, Rhiannon, because there might well be. Diana Cooper seems to think there is going to be a migration of souls that are choosing to stay and continue their learning at 3D. But I don't know how it's going to be experienced. I mean, the way that I'm seeing is like the two realities are just, they're separating from each other. It's almost like, and in order to release yourself from one reality, yes, you have to leave it physically. But the information that I was given in 2008 was that the vast majority of people on this planet, and hand on heart, I truly hope this is so, the vast majority of people on this planet have chosen to experience life at a higher frequency. And what I want to do, one of the most driving forces for me on a daily basis, is to give them the opportunity to do that. I don't want to see people behind this ascension process. I want everything perfect and moving through as we've agreed. You know, that this is one of the very hit and miss things about organizing something so massive on a planet that's got free will, is that free will can really interfere with our process, because there's people out there that are making their own choices, and those choices might not be in alignment with what's going on the planet, which is what's occurring at the moment. This is what I want to be focusing on tonight. It's almost the fastest and the most effective option that I see for all of us at the moment to chivvy this ascension process on as quickly and effectively as possible in the most comfortable possible way, is by raising our personal frequency and raising the frequency of everyone and everything around us. That's the way to do it. It's an inside job. I said many times in previous that you're never going to change the world by standing in a pulpit telling people how to be. Okay, like those days have gone. That ship's long sailed. You're never going to change people by saying you're living wrong, you do this, do that. The only way that you change is by leading by example. You lead with your light. Okay, so you take your frequency into the world, you take your light into the world, and you alchemize what's around you by your thoughts, your words, your deeds, your actions. And that is the most powerful thing that we can possibly do at the moment. Yes, many of us are having to stand up and speak our truths when our voice shakes, and that's brilliant. That's the warrior energy returning, standing, as Elizabeth is saying, living authentically in alignment. Yeah, it's exactly what we are doing. And by doing this, we are resetting the new fifth dimensional matrix. We are fortifying it. We're not kind of, adding a bit of energy to it and then kind of returning back to our normal state. you will find, even though you don't think so or you don't feel it, that you are living more in your higher frequency every single day than you ever were previously. This is why you feel rough. Okay, this is why you're feeling the ascension symptoms. This is why you're feeling tired, why you feel like you need to rest, why you feel like you're overwhelmed with other people's energies and overwhelmed with your own energies. It's because you are massively, massively integrating frequencies that are just becoming the norm now. Okay, it's becoming normal to integrate downloads. It's becoming normal to take on vast frequencies on a regular basis. We've had 5 years of preparation before the real work started. And as I said previously, the heart center of the planet opened collectively in the Lion's Gate 2017, and that was it. There was no more. There was no more kind of easy days. There's no more rest. There's no more time off. From every single day from that point onwards, it's the wattage on the microwave has been turned up and turned up and turned up. And this week it's been turned up extra high. Now, due to the incredible incoming energies and what we were experiencing this week, I was inspired to write a meditation to raise our frequencies even higher, basically, because this is what I'm guided to do. You know, it's the higher the frequency goes, the higher you raise your vibration. Okay, now this is the way that we harmonize with what's going on around us at a higher level. This is the way that we remove ourselves from the lower frequency matrix and we move into the higher vibration and we stay there. Jumping kind of from one frequency to the other, from 3D to 5D on a regular basis, is exhausting. This is another thing that wears us out. This is another thing that makes us very, very tired. We're having to be energy chameleons all the time. The higher you hold your frequency, the higher you keep your light, the more effective you are at staying in tune with all of these energies around us. Okay, that is the fastest way to alchemize and completely change what's going on the planet. Unplug from everything that would lower your frequency and keep your light as high and clear as possible. The faster you create that reality, the faster it will be the reality for everybody else. Okay, so I'd like to do this now, this meditation. I've been talking for a long time. We've done another little one. It's called the Cosmic Light Point Activation for the Seven Suns. So we're going to be using the light that's coming in from what I would call the seven spiritual suns of the universe. If you've got a crystal, grab your crystal and just allow the crystal to become the anchor point for the light coming in. Okay, it will magnify. It will do, if you want to take this light fully into your system, which is the intention of the meditation, just allow it to flow in. Archangel Metatron's not going to overload you with anything. Our days of kind of being overloaded or fried by light are long gone. Everything that's coming in, we're well in tune and capable of doing so. And then when we've integrated this light, we're going to send it out to the planet. Okay, so just relax and breathe deeply with your eyes closed. Just take a deep breath in through your nose and then just breathe out again. Allow your breath to completely fill your body and totally calm your mind. Just taking another deep breath in. And allow your breath to flow out. Feel every muscle in your body just completely relaxing. And we're now invoking the presence of Archangel Metatron, who's already with us, to just personally integrate and join each and every one of us. And to personally guide the quantity of light that you are about to receive. Okay? So just be aware of Archangel Metatron now opening and activating your stellar gateway chakra, which is a meter above the top of your head. See it as a beautiful, bright golden chakra, a meter above the top of your head. And just sense and feel it opening now. Your stellar gateway chakra is opening and becoming a chalice for higher light to enter. You'll see it opening up almost like a cup, ready to receive all of this higher light. Some of you may even actually feel the physical resonance of your stellar gateway as it becomes highly active. Now, in your head or aloud, say, I now invoke the sacred light from the 7 galactic suns to nourish, balance, and illuminate my bodies and my soul. And just say that again. I now invoke the sacred light from the 7 galactic suns to nourish, balance, and illuminate my bodies and soul. And just high above you now in the heavens, just be aware of the vast amounts of light beginning to gather from 7 separate sources. Light from the sun of Regal, the main sun of Orion, is shining with powerful blue-white light. These are filled with codes of the highest wisdom. The sun of Sirius A, with its pure white luminosity, carrying the power of universal learning and knowledge. The sun of Alpheratz, the bright star Andromeda, holding vital keys and codes for unconditional love within its blue-white light. Alcyone, the central sun of the Pleiades, beaming its bright blue, purple light of higher healing and technology. Star of Arcturus, burning bright radiant orange, and holding the technological marvels that have made their spiritual races so incredibly successful. The star of Antares, pure orange red with emerald green, holding the new frequencies of the peaceful warrior. The star of Vega, the sun of the Lyran constellation, burning with incredible blue luminosity and carrying the codes for the cosmic Christ light. As you tune into each of these sources from our spiritual universe, be aware now of Archangel Metatron harvesting the frequencies into a ball, which he now holds in the palms of his hands. Be aware that he has now created a collective ball of light which changes colour with every passing second. Archangel Metatron is now offering you this ball of light in its purest form to boost your own light and accelerate your ascension process and that of the planet too. Now you may accept as much or as little of this light as you feel necessary. And Archangel Metatron pours it in liquid form directly into your stellar gateway chakra, a meter above the top of your head. And almost immediately just feel your stellar gateway lighting up with these incredible vibrations. Just take a few moments to feel each of them individually. Some of the codes and frequencies may feel very familiar to you, and others may feel new, fresh, and even exciting. Just feel your stellar gateway chakra accepting this highest and this purest light. There is a very precise geometric shape forming now in the center of your stellar gateway. This is your soul geometry. What do you personally see in there? It may be an intricate design formed from many different vibrations, or it may be a simple and stable geometry like a pyramid or a sphere. Just allow it to light up very brightly. And the cosmic light is now beginning to move down through your other chakras. So feel it lighting up your soul star, your causal, your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your navel, your sacral, your base, and your earth star chakra below the soles of your feet. Feel yourself root up now. Just take a few moments to notice the vibration that your chakras have now got within them, and also the colour. You might notice that they've taken on the diamond rainbow colour, which is the colours of the upper fifth dimension. Just sense and feel and see each of your chakras lit up, and some of you may even experience the chakra column unifying into a single column of light. And you are just truly radiating now with the highest and the purest vibrations. Take a few moments to decide what you want to do with this vibrancy. Do you want to use it to balance and align yourself, or do you now wish to share it with others? Just allowing your bodies and your fields to be washed clean of any lower frequencies as the light begins to spread outwards. You may be aware also that we have attracted the attention of dragons, unicorns, angels, extraterrestrials, ascended masters, all points of light, who are now ready to assist with spreading your light into the world around you. Just being very aware of your frequency now, begin to send this light to a chosen place or person or destination around our planet. You might just want to see the world lighting up. You might want to send this light into the ley system to fortify the fifth dimensional frequencies of the new ley lines around our planet. You might want to send the light to a group of souls that need it very badly. You might want to send it to the animals or the trees of this planet. Or you might, as I am choosing to do, wish to send this light to alchemize and transform what remains of the third dimensional matrix around this planet. And the light from the seven suns is beginning to pour down in greater magnitude now. Not just for your benefit, for the benefit of our world. See it pouring down from the cosmos, guided by unicorns, by angels, by dragons, carried by ascended masters and extraterrestrials. And wherever you have chosen to send your light, see it lighting up very, very brightly. See the ley systems of our planet glowing very brightly, becoming stronger, becoming fortified. You may even see new ones spreading around the planet like new roads being built almost instantaneously. You might see separate pillars of light coming down into countries that need it the most. Places like China, Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, Africa. See all of these lighting up with beautiful white, blue, gold light. And begin to see and sense very clearly that all of the old energy is being replaced now with a new, higher structure. We're beginning to be joined by the Intergalactic Council, who are also agreeing that it's time for the energy to shift at a higher rate on this planet. They are allowing light to be poured into places where it has been difficult for those places to receive. This is going to create swift change and raising of frequencies. Gently see any veils or restrictions on consciousness being lifted from groups of people who the light hasn't completely reached yet. And just know that collectively together we are starting a process that will continue very powerfully throughout this year at an increasing pace. Start to see the light of the suns touching hearts. See it lighting up resistant egos around the world. See bright blue and golden light being sent into the media, to the sources of information that spread around our planet. See all the restrictions being removed. And the angels and the unicorns and the dragons and the high frequency energies beginning to touch the areas that have not yet been lit up properly. And now, under the law of grace, in the name of the highest light, collectively, for ourselves, and as a group, globally, as light workers, I am now asking Archangel Metatron and the Intergalactic Council and the Board of Karma to provide our planet with an ascension, acceleration, and evolvement of human consciousness within our world and on the face of our planet that will gently move everybody from a state of fear into a state of love with minimal disruption and open-hearted harmony. I ask under the highest laws of grace and light that this be done. It is so. So just become aware of yourself once again. You may feel yourself as a very powerful channel for this light coming as you are directing it into the planet, but just be aware of yourself and your chakras and your bodies just lit up, free of any lower frequencies and just glowing with the highest light. Begin to bring yourself back to where you are. Just be aware that the work that we have started will be continuing around our planet now. Remember to anchor this light in. Ask them to keep it flowing at all times. Gently bring yourself back to your bodies. Be aware of your Earth Star chakra below the soles of your feet. If your feet are rub on the ground, you might even want to stamp them wherever you are. When you're ready, just come back to where we're sat and open your eyes. I've got colours over my head. Cool. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They've been coming in all week. I've been kind of, oh, you tired now, Rhiannon? Oh, Kitos, thank you. So just bring yourselves back, everyone. Make sure that you're grounded. Come back to our group. Come back to where we are, sat around that beautiful white pool of light, the Aquarian Ascension pool. Okay. Now, as happened with the last one, we've gone nearly out of time. So just going to close us down now and just bring yourselves back. Make sure you're grounded. One thing that will be very, very important, whether it's morning, noon or night, wherever you are, is drink water. Okay. I've been drinking gallons and gallons of water this week, but also with you, when you bring light in of this quality, drink lots of water, okay? And this particular ball that we've set rolling tonight, this is going to be carrying on. It's been kind of very specifically set up. I'd like to thank you all from the centre of my heart for being part of that, because it's part of this alchemical process. You can do this on your own, but as a group, it's incredibly powerful work. And I could really start to see kind of the further kind of, I'm not going to use the word disintegration, the alchemization or the changing of the frequency. And the more we do it, the more we focus on this work. Wake up in the morning, set your energies, and work, ask yourself, how may I be of service? What can I do for myself, for others, for the planet today? Set your energy like that. Okay, so sending you all loads of love, and look after yourselves at the moment. It's, if you need a bit of time out, if you need a bit of relaxation, a bit of you time, take it. Breathe deeply, ground, go out for a walk in nature, unless it's raining or snowing, or it's whatever you're doing, just take time for you, take time to relax, but keep this energy flowing outwards. Just unplug from that matrix. Let's alchemize it. Lots of love, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.